Black Peace.
Back in Aramon, the Tarosian invaders pressed forward, though the element of surprise was no longer on their side. Aramon had begun to fight back. The army of undead and demons began to see their first losses. Their leader, the ruthless Zar Golan, rallies the restless army.
Deathmongers, Deathbringers, rise and offer black peace to the miserable breathers infesting this vile living land. Long live King Loken, Prince of the Dead. Zar Golan, Field Commander, Host of Taros.
A town would need to be eradicated.
Welcome back, folks. This is our first mission where you can actually build something. So basically what you have to do is you summon a Dark Mason. That's a builder unit for Taros. Obviously I'm Taros on this mission. And use it to conjure a lodestone on a sacred site. Use the Cabal, I guess that's what it is, the Cabal, that building is called a Cabal, to amass a small attack force. Destroy all resistance in the nearby town. Feel free to wreak havoc on the townspeople and crops. You don't actually have to do that. So you might notice, first I'll start this up. You might notice that the resolution is different compared to my other video. I was still sort of playing with it, and the resolution looked good to me based on what I was looking at on my computer. But I realized, I'm just going to do this for now, and you can set the rally point. So with the Mason, you can build various buildings. Your buildings are down here on the lower left. Different groups have different things they can build. So the way you get your money is through these lodestones here, and if you look where my cursor is, it's down here at this plus 32. The more lodestones you have, the higher that number is. And then whatever you're building at any given time, it contributes to this negative number. And so as the zombie's building, it contributes a negative 21. And so there's like a plus and a minus that are always combating. And then you have your mana pool here, which it has a maximum limit, but the maximum limit is bigger the more lodestones you have. And the more lodestones you have, the faster it fills up as well. So you can sort of supercharge building and build too much for a while, and it'll all build at its normal building rate. But that'll cause your negative to increase higher than your positive, and this pool slowly deplete. So you kind of want to save that, because if you look here, if I go and I tell my Mason here,
I'll be there.
If I tell my Mason here that I want to build a what is this? A caged demon, which is like a tower, a defensive unit. That's probably enough zombies. You see how it's depleting because it takes 95 to build one of those. So it depletes my mana pool a little bit, but my mana pool will refill. Now I can build zombies, which are like really, really weak. The total cost, they say, is 156, so maybe it takes 4 seconds or something, so minus 21 per second. That's kind of how it adds up. Executioner is a better version of that, is a better attack unit. Gargoyle is just for scouting. Each race has some sort of thing like that. This is our Black Knight, which is a ranged unit. So Taros' ranged unit, basic ranged unit, is sort of a fast archer, whereas like Aramon has those horsemen, which are like melee units. So basically, there isn't really much to say about this. You just click patrol. You build a bunch of guys. If you press control, you can either do it a lot and make 4 of these, or you can press control. You can make 4 guys and then press Control and click it, and that means it'll just keep building forever. As long as there's something to build with, it'll keep building. So the zombies are really weak, but you can build a whole bunch of them with very little mana. And that's just kind of how you play this game. You build units. I mean, there's going to be strategy later on. I'm going to use them, but for these early missions, they don't even have like a way to build their own units, so it's just whatever they have. Now I can tell this zombie here. I can press A and attack this vegetable garden. You know, and just sort of wreck their town and things like that. Now I have some executioners, which are stronger units. But yeah, that's basically it. Sometimes if it's like a kill all the dudes that are on the map, that's kind of a pain in the, because like sometimes there'll be like one guy and he's out like hiding somewhere, so you just gotta do something like that. Just send them everywhere. Like I'll send these over here. There's a, oh, there you go, victory. Now the victory screens aren't as bad, is because I changed the resolution in the game. The reason I changed the resolution in the game is because I watched the other video and I thought that the resolution I had, though it was fine for me playing it, it didn't look as good as it could in the actual video. So I changed it to not all the way down to 640 by 480 because I think that's too close. But at this resolution, which I think is 848 by 480, you can at least see. You can see the more detail on the individual units, and I think that's better for the Let's Play to have it that way. So this victory screen isn't as bad. It's only on the right now that there's that red part. So I think I'm just going to accept that the victory screens will have that. But I'm going to edit out the other part because I don't want the videos to have that red screen in them. So anyway, I think I got another mission in me, so we'll go ahead and do that. Jungle Screams.
Veruna, angry with the recent incursions, sent an expeditionary force to the Zhon coast. In the past, few dared venture there. Those who did seldom returned. This fact was not lost on the common sailors of the fleet. A Verunan sailor wrote in his log.
The coast of Zhon came up and we saw some flying beasties that scared some of the younger men. Ailea's beard, not a one of us like this place. The Zhon beasts may need your livers, so we hear. The captain says, not to be fearful. It's easy for him, he'll stay aboard. Sharktooth the Younger, warship Veruna Storm.
On deck, first-timers froze in terror at an awful sound from deep within the Zhon jungle. The tortured screams of living nightmares lying in wait.
So, after the attack of Zhon on Veruna, they got mad, and they decided to send an expeditionary fleet. And so we've got to go and sort of make landfall on Zhon and set up some guard towers, I think. Let's see. Sail down the river and around the bend. On the north shore is a sandy open beach. Unload your ground forces and have them protect the landing zone. Use your priestess to build 4 guard towers. Keep the flagship and priestess safe. Okay, no problem. So this is our flagship. It's unique to Veruna. It can build things kind of like the land builders of the other races, but only Veruna gets this sort of... like I said, I don't think it's extremely balanced as far as like water levels go. Veruna has like a very, very high advantage on those levels because of all the different types of ships they can build. There's Skiff, which is just the weakest ship, and then there's the transport ship, which we already saw. I think that guy was gonna go kill my lodestones. I think those lodestones might be killed anyway, but... So you transport your dudes here, you click here, you click the unload button, and you do that, and they all just come out automatically. You don't really have to do anything. Yeah, there were more those little goblins or whatever they were. Oh, the priestess isn't even on that. Most of the ships can carry things, but the transport ship easily has the biggest capacity. So this is the Veruna basic building structure. The I think it's called the Enclave. Send some guys up here. Yeah, those guys aren't very strong right there. So we're gonna go right here. We're gonna get another lodestone. And you don't actually have to attack anyone on this mission. You can you just wait, wait here, because all you have to do is build lodestones. I don't even have to build any more of these guys. I have plenty of that. I built it just for the sake of it. You can see it. You saw with... Oh, well... They have a basic unit as a warrior. It's just like the swordsman, maybe a little weaker than an Aramon. Then we have the crossbowman, same as an archer. And then the priestess, which is the builder for Veruna. Doesn't matter where you build these guard towers, as long as they're in this general area. You can speed up the production of a building by sending 2 builders, and it happens much faster, but you notice in the bottom right it really starts depleting your mana pool. So the trick is to balance how much you're building. Like if you need something done really quick, it's good to have like a little bit some spare it's good to have some spare capacity here, or extra mana, so that it doesn't slow down the building time. Because if it gets down to the bottom, plus 64 is as fast as it'll go, so it really slows down the building. So there's a lot of variation in how fast the building time goes. Again, not very hard mission, happened really quick. I'm going to go ahead and do one more mission. Cleansing.
Zhon resists Veruna's incursion into her territory. As was the custom before any significant battle, a Zhon shaman chiseled this totem glyph.
Our warriors will crush the foul-smelling Veruna boatmen. Fire drakes will fill the sky. If these fools have a scrap of honor, they will cooperate and die quickly. We will sacrifice many beasts, and if need be, our own lives, to cleanse Zhon of these invaders.
So we're on to our first Zhon mission. Zhon works a little bit differently, but I'll explain that in a second. So have your beast handler build more troops, march south into the Verunan camp, destroy all their guard towers. Okay, sounds good. Zhon works a little bit differently because they don't actually have buildings that summon troops. They have troops that summon troops. So I'm gonna build sorry. So it's kind of awkward to do this. When I first played this game, I didn't know the control thing, so it was very, very difficult. Because if you wanted to do Zhon, you click on it, and then it goes somewhere to build it, and you can do it like this. You can press Shift key. So this is how I was like doing all my building for Zhon, and it just like took forever than just clicking. But I found out that you can actually click Control, and yeah, if you interrupt him, it'll stop building. But I found out that you can actually click Control, and it'll just constantly build things, and you know, they'll just move a little bit and they'll keep building. The only thing is that, as far as I know, there's no way to set the rally point with the Zhon troops, so they'll get kind of stuck here, you know what I mean? And then it'll stop building because everything will be in the way, so you kind of have to be careful of that. But you know, actually, I bet there might be a way to set a rally point for the Zhon builder. I just don't know how to do it. So we're missing all the good action here. Oh. Have to left click to do that. I find that in this game it's better to focus mostly on range, because most units have very long range, as you can see. The units in this game, you know, regular units have extremely long range. And the actual siege units have extremely high range. So it's typically just better to do this because the ranged units can go through, typically, if there's only a couple of melee guys, they can typically get through them in, I don't know, before they ever give a chance to even get close. If you have enough range, they just do it so fast. So basically, you just want to zerg as much as possible. Like later on, there's going to be a little bit more strategy, but in this game, you know, honestly, it might be a good idea to slow the game speed down a little bit. I think, yeah, options. I think let's go down to 7. See how far that is? That's pretty long range for that unit here. Yeah, so pretty much not really much trouble at all. And that went pretty well. I think I'll go ahead and do one more mission. Well, the editing on these things are going to take a really long time anyway. Later on, the editing will be easier because individual missions might take, 40 minutes or an hour. But these early missions are so easy that you just sort of blow through them. So I'm going to go ahead and play the next mission. Without Mercy.
Across the Edamothi Sea in Aramon, Taros' forces prepared a surprise attack from their well-fortified encampment. The Taros commander notified King Loken.
The necessary defenses are in place. This land is disgustingly soft and filled with life. I hate the cloying, almost sickly, sweet smell of the very air in this absurd land. I anticipate nothing stopping our progress toward the capital. A swift cut to the heart will rid us of these self-righteous sons of Aramon. I expect victory to be sudden and without mercy. Zargolan, Field Commander, Host of Taros.
Alright, so we're back to being Taros again. I guess that's one of the more interesting things about this game, is that it switches regularly between each of the factions. You're never one faction mission to mission. Like, sometimes you'll have a couple missions as one faction, but it always switches around. So the whole story is as the story is advanced, you actually, whatever victories are accomplished by each faction, you actually do it as the story goes along. Which is kind of a cool way to do it. So anyway, this is the first mission that should probably take a little bit longer. And it's the first mission where we get a monarch, it seems. So use Loken, that's the monarch of Taros, to conjure lodestones, buildings, and fortifications. Fend off early attacks from Aramon. Summon a sizable army, descend to the base to the south, destroy all the enemy soldiers and buildings within the walls of the base. Loken must survive. Alright, spacebar. So you just have Loken. I'm going to go ahead and build a lodestone first. When you play multiplayer or against the AI, just a random map, this is what you start with. You just start with your monarch for whatever faction you chose. I'm going to build a cabal first. You start with that, and then, you know, typically you'll build a lodestone first, or you'll build a cabal, or your basic building, your basic unit building first. I forget which was actually better now that I think about it. But yeah, and that's all you start with, and so you get that building and you set something going. I'm just going to do, I wanted a couple dark masons so that I have additional builders. Then you go around and you look for lodestones, and the lodestones are just spread out everywhere. So you have to have like actually a pretty sizable control of the map to actually have enough mana to do things. It is convenient that you can build like multiple buildings and stuff like that. Let's see here. Any more? So you just gotta, every time you get to a map, you kind of gotta look around. In the multiplayer ones, I noticed a lot of the times, the maps would be made that all the lodestones were just right there. Anyway. So that didn't really matter very much. I'm just building zombies right now because I want to make sure that nothing comes up and does anything to me real quick. I'm going to set the rally point. You have to actually click this to set the rally point. One of the things that you can do is build walls to block people off. Like there's somewhere over here, like I think you can actually get in here. So one of the things sometimes you want to do is to prevent units is you can build these walls like this. Just so they can't pass. Which these walls don't actually take very much to build. And if you hold shift down, you can instruct them to build a whole bunch of walls at the same time. Which is kind of convenient. If you lose your monarch, then you do die, so you want to be really careful with doing that. I'll go ahead and send these zombies out. There's no real reason to waste time on that. They're probably going to die really bad. Let's see, where's this guy? I'm going to go ahead and build a mage tower. Those are really expensive. I'll build a cage demon first. The mage tower is like a better version of the cage demon. Sort of... Oh, we got some action here. Yeah, those horsemen are probably going to wreck those zombies, but that's okay. The zombies were just to make sure I didn't get caught with my pants down. You see, I always patrol them. I just patrol them down the way that I want to go, so they'll just attack whatever they come across on the way. I'm not actually even sure if they can get up there, but it's okay. I'm going to have him go help them with this. So one of the things, Aramon and Veruna, they only have 2 buildings that complete units. Taros has 3 buildings, and
I'll be there.
Zhon has 3 of those. So this is like a bird here. Zhon has 3 of those builder things, and I'm gonna make archers. Sometimes I do it with these birds, which I find them kind of entertaining because they drop eggs, and it's kind of fun to watch that. It's like they like little bombers or something. They can only attack ground units. Oh no. I'm not I'm not even going to really try too much to be too strategic about this one. I'm not really even that worried about it. Let's see, we're at 75. Let's see if I can't get another lodestone. It's like, and your units are really expendable. So like, I'm barely even looking at it. I don't know why he wasn't attacking anything, but okay. Yep, just doing some attacking. You see, this zombie has killed 2 guys, and so if it's not, like different units, it takes different amounts. So he's got, I guess, a bronze thing, and his head is now gold, which means he has a little bit more hit points, and he does more damage. Alright, now we're starting to have some of these. These archers are pretty good. These are like a medium tier archer, so they're better than the basic archer of the other units, or the other factions, or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, you do have to have a lot of control over the map in order to have enough of these lodestones, you know what I mean? So I think I have enough. I can build up to executioners now that I got some new lodestones. Looks like I'm having some trouble here. Now these skeletal archers are very, very fragile. It doesn't take much to kill them. What's going on here? What happened? Oh, he killed somebody? Build this. See, they snuck up there somehow. I don't even remember how they did that, but okay. Buildings count towards your units. If you've ever played StarCraft, then you know. I'm just going to keep these guys over here, because they managed to kill one of my lodestones. Yeah, like I'm not even worried about how they're doing over here. You can basically... Units are very, very expendable in this game. And so, like, when I first started playing StarCraft, I was used to this one, where you just sort of zerg in no matter who you are. Where you just zerg in, so in StarCraft you have to be a lot more careful on that kind of stuff, so... Probably have a lot of guys here by now. The executioners, which is the higher tier unit, melee unit for Taros, they're a lot stronger than the zombies, so they won't die as quickly. And they go about the same rate as the skeletal archers. Those skeletal archers are probably dead. Look at how it has a little exploding animation for the skeletal archers, which is pretty nice. It doesn't really matter how many units you lose, like, it's sort of irrelevant, really. Let's see, I can probably get another lodestone. Where do we go here? Here we go. Take that lodestone. Anything over here? Yes, sir, I'll take that lodestone. What is it doing? Vision's really important in this game. Everything has range, pretty much, that's larger than its vision. So it's actually often pretty useful to build, like, units that just maintain your vision.
What shall I do?
Somehow I clicked that guy. Actually, I'm going to show you that real quick. Something interesting that you can do. If I have a builder around anywhere. Here's one. I'm going to build another camel. Did you see this gargoyle? Another thing you can do, like, instead of just setting rally points, you can actually set patrol points. So, in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do with this. You can actually set it so they'll start patrolling from where they're produced and just immediately start going to the area. And I just remembered that right now. That's why you hadn't heard of that before.
I'll be there.
Go ahead and build one of these. Go ahead and build one of these. Because there is some way that they can, like, it's cheap, but they can get up there somehow. I don't know.
What now?
They can get up. They can get up on that little thing somehow. So I want to just protect it so that when they do get up there, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and try to build a mage's tower here. Also, when you see the buildings that they can build, if it's an attack building, the way it looks is like if it's gotten to the gold shield level or what have you. So did this finish? Yes. So one of the things you can do is you can set patrol, and then you can set your... actually, I don't need that many, but... You can set it to patrol, and they will actually patrol to that area, and it's kind of convenient because most of the time they get killed pretty well. But it's looking like I finally whittled them down enough. I see here, he killed one guy, and he got up to, it must have been a strong unit or something. The patrol does work a little bit weird, because once they get an attack target, they'll leave their patrol route, go kill the attack target, and if they survive, they will go back to where they first acquire the target before trying to do anything else. It's like kind of strange how that works. Instead of just the nearest route to the patrol line, they'll go back to where they first acquired that target before doing anything else. So it kind of is like silly that way. Alright, it's pretty much over for Aramon this time. Okay, here we go. Get that. Get it. I think this is the last one. Yep, there we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for this video. I'm going to go back and try to record the cinematics, which you've already seen by the time you're hearing me say this. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, folks. Later.